All right, making the transition from working out in a gym or in group classes to working out at home can sound super scary for some people. They might wonder, am I going to stay motivated? Will I know what to do? Will I be consistent? Well, like us, today's guest knows a lot about that topic. We're going to be talking about the benefits of online coaching. Morgan Bungerz is the owner of Gym Bungerz, an online gym, and he is our guest today. So welcome to the podcast, Morgan.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we actually talked on the phone with you a couple months ago and got to know you, but you and Blakely actually met like 5 years ago unknowingly when she was doing a coaching immersion in Boston with Ben Bergeron at CrossFit New England. Give us a little bit of the backstory about how you got to CFNE and how you went from, well, before that, but then how you went from cleaning rowers at CFNE to eventually being the head coach there.
Yeah, heck yeah. Right. Small world that we
I
had previously
know.
met. I love it. So the quick story is started CrossFit in high school, started an affiliate at my college, knew about CFNE through I think they won the team division of the games around that time when I was just starting CrossFit. One of my good friends posted on his Facebook, happy to announce I'll be the CFNE intern this upcoming summer. And I remember that exact moment. I remember where I was and what I was wearing, what I was doing. I immediately called him. I was like, dude, how do you do that? How can I be the intern next year? And then called CFNE, interviewed. Next summer, I was the intern. So I graduated college, started this unpaid internship, and everyone was freaking out for me. Like, you gotta get a job. You can't be this unpaid intern. But showed up at CFNE, cleaning rowers and mopping floors and doing the awesome stuff. Got hired, luckily, after the summer. And then over the course of 5 years, went from the intern, the facility manager, all the way up to the head coach, and
That's
learned a lot in
awesome.
the process. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
fun.
What about before you opened the affiliate at your college?
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that. What college?
Yeah, super small school, Hobart and William Smith in upstate New York.
Okay, that's so funny
Or
because
West
my
New York.
my first affiliate experience was at Rice University. We have a
Awesome.
little college affiliate there.
Yes, it's like the perfect model for a college campus.
Oh
It is
yeah.
so
Yeah.
If they
So
have the
cool.
money to pay for the membership, I guess.
yes.
No, it's like part of their rec at Rice. It was like part of their rec. Like the
Okay.
students got a rec membership, so it was like a class offered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we were
it's
just a
super benefit to
student
them.
club.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
we were a club. We convinced the school to buy us all new Rogue
yeah.
equipment, too much money, but it was awesome. So we
That's
enjoyed it
awesome.
for sure.
Yeah.
Did you have
Awesome.
an athletic background before college? Are you were you born of a lineage of professional athletes? Tell us about that.
Definitely not. I found CrossFit through my hockey team. So my played hockey pretty much year round from when I could learn to skate at 8 years old till college. My high school hockey team junior year, our off ice training was CrossFit. We were actually in the parking lot of a yoga studio downtown in the snow, in the rain. When we lost the game, our coach made us do bear crawls across the train tracks that were back there. It was really intense and really awesome. And immediately, day one, I was hooked. And I was a goalie in hockey, so I got some flexibility.
Wow.
The coach came over day one and was like, "Hey, your air squat is really good. Do you want to coach CrossFit?" And I was like, "I have no idea what that means, but I would love to do that."
Nice.
That says a lot about your personality right there.
Yeah, the rest was history. Yeah, I don't know, but it sounds cool.
I think we both I know Blakely and I really respect Ben as an entrepreneur and as a coach and as a person. What were some of the main takeaways you got from spending so much time at CFNE from a coaching perspective, personal development, business, whatever?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I am blessed that I got to go from college to that environment at CFNE. Essentially, I got my doctorate in CrossFit by doing that.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And the best way to explain it is on Netflix. There is a documentary series called 7 Days Out. I don't know if you guys are familiar with
Yes.
it.
We are, yeah.
I love it. And one of
Yes.
the best one, in my opinion, is 11 Madison Park, where they go through, it won the best restaurant in the world.
Mhm.
They shut down, ripped out the insides and redid it, even though they just won. In one of our coaches meetings that we would have every Tuesday, we'd have a coaches meeting. Ben brought us all together, put that on the screen, and we watched for an hour. We watched that documentary.
Oh wow.
And I say this because that documentary, especially that restaurant, it's about excellence, right? Yes, they're serving food, But in the documentary, they're talking about like which way the logo of the bottom of the plate is facing when you put it down on the table.
Yeah.
And like, how do the chairs feel when you're sitting in the, like crazy stuff. And CF&E was the equivalent of that. We were an excellence business. Our goal was to do the best at whatever we were doing. It just so happened to be working out. Like Ben could have walked in one day and be like, we're making burritos now. Like, okay, cool. How can we bring excellence to the burrito making business?
Right.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot of learning, but same idea. Like, what does excellence look like? And kind of the next step down from that was, it's not even excellence in fitness. It was excellence in relationships. That was the biggest thing for me, was showing up at CF&E, like ready for thrusters and pull-ups, and learning that it's about conversations and relationships. Like, okay, that's it was a learning curve for 22-year-old me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But like, as you guys know, like that is the key to achieving anything, is building trust, building relationships. And then whether you are doing fitness or whatever it might be, that job is so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just a quick backstory of how I even found Ben, because I'm from Texas, is like I actually did my level 2 up in Boston, and James Hobart was my level 2. It was James Hobart and Austin Maliello.
The flow master.
And I was just blown away by like the style of James's coaching, and like it was like, I don't know, it was
very engaging.
It was very engaging.
Personal.
And I was just like, I want to be this, like, I want to be a coach like him. Like, that was just like, he, to me was like the mecca of coach. And then randomly I went to like a business seminar in Dallas, and Ben was doing a seminar there. And I was like, Ben really reminds me of James's style of coaching. And to come to find out, like, James learned from Ben and all this stuff. And anyway, so then I was like, I got to get up to this gym and see like what's going on here. And that kind of led to all that. Awesome. But it was just like, you can see it in both of them, the way that they coach and present themselves.
We also have talked about on this podcast before that Blakely had a big crush on James.
No,
Hobart,
I didn't.
so that didn't hurt things.
Hey, honestly, me too.
We randomly sat next to each other on a plane, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun.
It was like one of those experiences.
She's
where
blushing right now if you can't see on camera.
Just because it's like so hilarious. It was like a 5 a.m. flight from Boston to Nashville. And I was like getting on, and there was no one on this plane except for like him and 2 people. And I noticed him. He's like in row 3. And so like a big dork, I get to go and sit right next to him in the middle
all the
seat.
empty seats.
I'm like, I'm doing this. There's no one sitting.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
And then I was like, and then he actually remembered me from the level 2. But it was like, I have to do this. This is my bravest moment.
Watch out, James. I still got the girl.
Exactly.
Because I'm sure he listens to our podcast. So a couple of things that came to mind when you were talking about that learning experience basically was the expression of like, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Exactly.
That speaks to really the bigger picture of integrity. The example everybody gives is like, do you go put the shopping cart back in the little corral even when no one's looking? No one's
watching, yeah.
And how do you take that like level of integrity and care to what we do for a living? And because that is the thing that grows the know, like, and trust and makes people want to hire us. And I think that's a good transition into like, all right, how did we go from that to owning an online gym called Gym Bungerz? Where does that name come from, and what was that transition like?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with the name because I love it. So 15 years ago, unfortunately, my father passed away from ALS. And if you know ALS, it ruins the neurons that control your muscles. So you go from, he was an active person. He played hockey. He loved doing yard work. He was always outside. And over the course of 6 months, lost all of that. Wheelchair ridden, bedridden. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it was as a 15-year-old to watch my hero have this ability stripped from him was awful. So immediately as it was happening, I realized how important our abilities are. Like, what a gift it is to be able to get up out of bed and squat and run, and like having sore arms. Some people would kill for that opportunity to have sore arms, or to have 50 more burpees to do, right? They wish they could do that. So immediately movement was really important. And his name was Jim Bungerz, Jim Bungerz. And then when I had the idea of doing something on my own one day, post-WOD, like complete WOD brain, that meditative state of like, you're completely zoned out. It came to me like, oh, Jim Bungerz. And like, I wrote it down on the whiteboard, and it was no brainer. That's exactly what we're doing. That's the name. And that was kind of the last little bit to like commit to doing this thing. Once we had the name, it's like, okay, this is happening.
That's
great. So, and it's cool because every day we get to say his name.
Yeah.
Even though we're saying gym, we're still saying it's
so cool.
That is so cool.
Oh, thank you.
Had you ever owned a business before?
In college, I did a lot of entrepreneurial classes.
Nice.
Obviously, very different than the real world. Very, very different. I'm finding out. I got like 30% of the experience by doing that affiliate in college, but have never run a business until trial by fire, doing this on my own.
Well, tell us what does your business look like now? How are you doing kind of a group class method through the internet?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Sounds like, imagine explaining this to someone 10 years ago.
Well,
Exactly.
people, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Ridiculous.
I'm
Even explaining to people now. Yeah, ridiculous. But so pandemic happened, 2020, doors at CF&E are locked. We're shut down. Nothing can happen in person. Very quickly, the entire fitness community realized Zoom classes were what we had to do. That was our only option at the time being. So CF&E started up Zoom classes, which meant a lot of our members bought a ton of equipment. People bought equipment, outfitted their garage gyms, their home gyms, whatever it was. And over the couple of months, I kind of realized this kind of works, right? Like people have committed financially to buying the equipment. The classes are kind of working for what we're looking for. Let's do this. Let's push it, like keep it going. Let's see how far we can push this model. So summer of 2020, I left CF&E and committed to doing this Zoom thing full time. It worked out great at the beginning because Zoom was still the only thing you could do for like the next year. It was a lot easier than having like the big tents in the gym where like you had to stay separate and clean everything. I kind of dodged the
everywhere.
Yeah, oh yeah, my gosh, mask. It was a mess. So what we've perfected over 3 years is not trying to do a digital experience, but trying to copy and paste the live experience just through a screen as opposed to in the same room. So our group classes follow the exact same format as an in-person class. Like people sign on, we usually chat and joke around and kind of hang out for the first 5 minutes, warm up, whiteboard brief, practice the movements, do a practice round, still have a bathroom break. That's the most important part. Members, don't let you forget the bathroom break. Gotta have a bathroom break. And then everyone cranks their own music and we start the workout and I'm coaching you and like guiding you through it during the workout. Workout ends. And again, we chat and hang out. Most of the time, like I almost missed our meeting because I was chatting with the 9:30 afterwards for so long. So it was it is a fun time hanging out with people over Zoom. And it works. If you can commit to it, it totally works.
Yeah.
And can people, do they have to be there live for the class, or can they watch it after the fact and go through, what the workout was?
Awesome question. We record the 7:30 every day, and immediately post that. So by 8:30, the recording's up. And the cool thing about that is recording the class versus because sometimes I'll film my own warm-ups and just post that beforehand. But by recording a class, some people, when they're watching the video, they'll text me and be like, I was so mad at you because you weren't saying my name. And I was wondering what I did. I was like, oh, I'm on the recording. Like, oh, I forgot that.
You're ignoring me
in the class. Yeah. Like, oh, it's so funny. I love hearing that, like that the recording could create that kind of environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's really cool. It's way different than how our business works, but I think there's a lot of overlap in that we're both helping people kind of lower the barrier to entry of some of the extra resources that it might take to go to a gym, some of the
like the scheduling,
maybe some intimidation and fear around that, kind of like actually knowing what to do because you have a coach. So why don't we spend some time talking about just in general the benefits of online training? How does that sound?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, how long do we have to talk? You guys
Well, what are some of the things that you hear from clients who have been with you since the beginning, or even new clients, as to why they like online training? And maybe we can talk about why some of our clients like it too.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I hear from some of my guys is, you guys mentioned it, the schedule, right? Like the barrier to entry of going to a brick and mortar gym. You have the guidance, you have the group doing it, so it's really cool to get there. But it's at least a 15-minute drive. It's an hour class. You usually stumble around afterwards for 10 minutes to like recompose yourself. 15-minute drive on the way back. Like that's almost a 2-hour commitment now for your workout. That's huge. There are a lot of people who don't have 2 hours in their day that they could block off for getting a workout in. So if consistency is the goal, right? You guys talk about it a lot. Like consistency is the goal when it comes to your fitness. The more convenient your fitness is, the more consistent you will be. So let's make it as consistent as possible. Let's minimize that time on your calendar. So our classes are 45 minutes, give or take. You can sign in a little bit late. You can leave a little bit early if you have to, but we're trying to make it as convenient as possible to get in the gym 4 to 6 times a week.
Awesome. Yeah.
And depending on where you live, that 15-minute drive time might actually be 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah, no, seriously. I've talked to people that are like,
for a long time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, especially like depending on what time you go. Like if you go to a 4:30 p.m. class, you might be in 45 minutes of traffic.
Yeah. That's just a big vote for probably, I would say over half of our clients work out at home. And that's one of the big benefits is just, not having to spend so much time in the car. I guess you save gas too. And
like you said, people did start to like realize that like, oh, this gym thing could go away. I didn't ever think of it as going away. And now I need to invest in my own stuff so that if this is something that's important to me, I have it at home for when I need it.
Yeah. And or being able to fill in the gaps when even if you do go to a gym.
Yeah.
Like, I can't today, but I have
we have some clients that even go like, 2 or 3 days to like a Globo gym type of thing. And then 2 or 3 days at home for
that's
their schedule.
Awesome.
What do you anything else come to mind as far as like benefits that your clients see out of training at home?
Yeah. Big time schedule. Cost is a big one. We're obviously more expensive than like a Peloton membership, but still you're getting the guidance that you would in person for less than half the cost of that. And
that's a big one.
The big one. Because I remember, this is not really a benefit of at home training, but of the live at home training, because I remember that first workout during lockdown, March 2020, in my garage by myself. The silence was deafening. It was the worst workout of my life. I think I stopped halfway through. I spent most of the time scrolling Instagram. Like it was awful. So to have the term we've coined is emotional drafting. Right. So when you go to a gym, there's that big group, the music is loud, barbells are dropping. It's easy to get swept up in the energy of it. But if the coach is skilled enough, you can create emotional drafting through the internet, through a recording potentially, but definitely through a live class.
Yeah, that's cool.
Not necessarily at home training, but live at home training. There is that support where the emotional labor is taken off of you, where you're in charge of all the energy. Now it's my job as the coach to pump you up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I know you're in your garage right now. If anybody's watching this on YouTube can see his awesome little space right there. But I can imagine like maybe your wife inside the house or something, hearing you coaching a class and only hearing your side of it, being like, what in the world? He's in there like cheering people on, creating that emotional drafting. And she's like trying to like write a paper,
Right. No, it's ridiculous. And actually, before we moved here, I was in the loft of our apartment, like open air loft.
Yeah.
So Katie had to hear the same joke 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
God bless her.
Yeah, she's like, it wasn't funny the first time, and now the third time it's just awful.
It's not funny.
I think Blakely can kind of relate to that too, because our desks are like 10
side
feet
by
apart
side.
here in our office, and I do a lot of the nutrition check-ins via video. So I just record myself with my phone, and like she has to listen to me talk for 5-10 minutes in a row. Or sometimes I'll give my training clients video corrections, like I'll video myself doing it, and she has to like along for the ride.
I'll look up and be like, you need to redo that one. That was rough.
That's awesome.
But like something else that comes to mind is just the fact that like, because I know that we have experimented with subscribing to other people's workout programs, like through SugarWatt or what some of those apps where you just like get the workout.
Yeah.
And there's always this giant question mark, like, well, what weight should I be using? Like,
right.
There's no video demo of the form. There's no written explanation of the intent.
It's just like 5 by 10 in the movement or something.
Right. Right. So, I think through our online experience, we've been able to bridge that gap of just giving somebody a workout program and actually giving them legit coaching through the app that we deliver things, people, the workouts through.
Yeah.
And then I know you do the same with, putting your eyeballs on the people just like you would in a gym.
Did you have a question? You just left
a
it
statement.
open-ended.
I'm just
I
saying,
was like, you left it open-ended like
that's
that.
a huge benefit of
Yeah.
online training, because I think like there's a difference between online coaching and online workout programs.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
we're not
yes.
just giving people online workout programs to follow. We're giving them coaching, just like you are in your virtual.
Yes.
And after you've done it so many times in person, you can translate it to video, to paper, however you're delivering it. And you just kind of have that flow. Like for our Metcons that we give people, like I give them the flow check. I'm like, I have like this paragraph and I'm always wondering if like anybody's reading this, but it's like, it's meant to pump them up and be like, okay, practice this. This is the domain. This is what you should be feeling, you know, all these things. Cause it's, you know, you've done it so many times. You're like, okay, I can replicate this. And hopefully they like feel a little bit of something, even if they're reading it.
Yeah. We're doing this podcast series on like helping new coaches grow their online coaching business. And let me ask you this might be controversial, but do you think that somebody can be a successful online coach if they don't have any experience with in-person coaching people?
Ooh, that's an awesome question. Let me give you the longest answer possible. If you're okay with that. At CFNE, CompTrain started CompTrain class. I don't know if you guys are familiar, where it was like in the notes, it was a full lesson plan essentially of what a coach should do to run the workout that CompTrain was giving them. And I always said, I kind of jokingly said, man, if you got a really good actor, not CrossFit certified at all, but you got like Tom Cruise to come in and he knew those notes, he could run a kick-ass class. And like, yes, like would there be like, hey, knees out, like, oh, like you're like extend your elbow a little more? Probably not. But for the most part, like 80% of it could be totally crushed. Like people are like, that was the best class ever. Like that coach was awesome. So there is that aspect of it. Does that translate to online? I think it's possible. Again, you got a big enough personality and someone who was energetic enough, totally could work. But the value of like understanding human movement and knowing like if you can just like, I sometimes see this much of somebody, but I know what their feet are doing and I can correct them on that because I have that experience of being in the room with them, seeing the full movement. So it is there's stuff you can learn that you in person that you can't get on. You can get most of the way, the energy, the excitement, the kind of emotionalness of it, but it does help to do in person. It's a great question. What do you guys think?
I think I kind of agree. I think you need that in-person experience for a lot of hours to see how people move, because I think that's how you're going to know, like you said, like already what to expect. Like, for example, like I used to get on to people for how they picked up dumbbells. Like they'd be moving great in the workout and then they like bend back, pick them up and then drop them and almost break a toe. And so I have all these like rules. And so I have all these videos I've made that I give our clients when they're new. I'm like, okay, here's my spiel on dumbbells, like how you pick them up, how you set them down. And I think that's like one of the things you wouldn't get from never like coaching people, just like how people act. And
I mean, think what you said makes sense. Like you have to be like a good, charismatic, energetic person who communicates well, just to garner enough respect for the person to even take coaching from you. But the actually seeing the human movement, knowing what people typically mess up during a movement, and knowing how to give cues to correct it. That's probably really hard to do
if you've never seen.
Number one, if it's not in real time, and number two, if you just haven't seen enough people move in person. I think we're all on the same page with that.
Yeah, like learn in the 3D model of it. So when you go to 2D, you have what's going on. Whereas just learning two-dimensional would be kind of hard.
Yeah. Like even knowing to what angles to tell people to show you their movement at.
Yes.
I don't need to see your bench press from your crotch angle. Not helpful.
Turn to the side.
Slightly offensive and not helpful.
Not a productive angle. Yeah. That's amazing. But
or the back squat from the front. I've got those. Like put the camera
people like to see themselves in the camera.
Not helpful.
But that's how your clients send stuff in, right? They film their reps.
So we have a whole video like educating them on how to video yourself, because it is true. You just don't instinctively know the right angles either to watch yourself on.
Right. That's hilarious. But I think that's a great point where it's like trying to translate the real world experience to virtual, like I've done, is better than if you were starting from scratch and like, let's make the best virtual experience possible.
Yeah.
I think that's you're approaching the same problem from different ways, and I think the best outcome is trying to keep as much real world stuff there as possible and bring it virtually.
Yeah. I would even say that a lot of our clients had never gone to a group class or never worked with a coach in general. They maybe had programs that they followed, whatever, but they never really knew like how much of a relationship you could form with a coach.
Yeah.
And like, they're like, wow, this is pretty awesome. I know I'm paying for this exercise part, but I'm getting a relationship with this person that I know, like, and trust also.
I know when clients start to like send videos of their kids and like things like that, I know you've like kind of like breached the, you're in a relationship with this person. They trust you. They're like sharing family details and stuff. I think it's awesome.
That's awesome. This is a lot about the level of commitment you guys have to your members. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think this is a good transition into the next topic, which is kind of how do we work on maintaining that relationship, but also community in the group.
Yeah.
In the group setting.
If possible. I feel like we've kind of like, just coming from a gym background, we've really like wanted the community. But I think people who sign up for online classes, sometimes they don't really care about the community. They want the workout. They probably want a coach to help them. But that's probably where it ends for them. They don't really care about being a big part of a community.
There were even those members that would cut out the minute the class was over. That didn't care about that side of it too.
Out the door, yeah.
They're here for the workout. But it is something that we've tried, and I don't know if you try to create a sense of community for those who are in Gym Bungerz. And
what have you found success with in that?
Yeah, absolutely. Sugar WOD is awesome. So that's the app we use where we post our workout and people post their score. You can give people fist bumps, you can comment, and you can use little GIFs under their video or under their workouts.
Yeah.
And that's been a great place just for everyone to go in and fist bump everybody and put as many comments in as you can. It's like a little bit of fun after the fact, after the workout.
Okay.
It's a nice little touch point. Yeah. Not like, definitely not like an in-person experience, but it is a way that we can intrude on other hours of their life, which is what I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
Be as much of their life as possible.
Yeah.
And then for like actual like human community, having the Zoom open for more than just the workout, like start at 5 minutes early, 10 minutes early, people come in, and we're rarely talking about the workout until I have to be like, guys, we have to work out at some point today. Like, let's start working out, right? Like, let's do this. And some people are very engaged in that conversation, and some people are sitting there stretching. They're muted. They're waiting for me to corral the cats to start the class.
Yeah.
And then same thing afterwards. There's a rule. I can never end the Zoom if there's someone else there. Like I will wait till the last person is gone. We will talk about any obscure topics you want to talk about. But once everyone is gone, then we end it.
Okay.
That kind of we're not focusing on the workout. We're focusing on getting you happy and healthy. And yes, the workout's a big part of that, but also you showing off your new puppy to us is a big part of that as well. So like, let's do all of that as much as we can in 45 minutes to an hour.
That's cool.
I really like that idea. Like the way that our workout programming works is Blakely writes the framework of our training, then each of us coaches customizes that for our individual clients. So there's some overlap of what all of our clients are doing, their own variation of it based on their goals, equipment, all that kind of stuff. But maybe that's something we could try to bring into our business where like we share the workout on our members only Facebook group and be like, hey, how did you guys
do? Yeah.
What were you doing? Because we know how they did as their coach, but we can kind of build some
like post a workout a week or something or a day, and then like, how did everybody do on this one?
Yeah. Because it can
Let
be a
them
struggle.
comment.
Not everybody's on Facebook, and we deliver our clients workouts individually, so there isn't that like big conglomeration where everybody
you
can
can't see
what
anybody's
doing.
scores or anything like that.
So I like that idea.
It is cool to like share best practices, and like in the back of my mind when I'm working, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to post this. I better work hard. If I told everyone to work hard at this point, I better make sure I work hard at that point. So it bleeds into accountability as well. But it is a great community aspect for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, is like the coach doing the workout and showing. It's not about like, it's just like you're practicing what you preach. You're doing the same thing as them. You're putting in the hard work. I think that's cool.
Exactly.
And I think like you do a good job on your social media too, of kind of, sharing what everybody's doing. How has your social media ideology evolved since starting your own thing? Because we could have a whole podcast about the responsibilities of social media to a business owner.
Yeah.
Right. I think if you guys were to start a masterclass for that, I would be your first student, because you guys do a great job of that. And yeah, I started out pre-Jim Bungerz, barely using social media, but barely posting. Like obviously consume it, but not contributing whatsoever. Started Jim Bungerz, and for the longest time, I was like, oh, like it'll come organically, like it'll make sense, like it'll happen. And unless you're very intentional, it does not happen. So for a year and a half, it was like very sparsely, like a couple of posts, no theme, no goals. And only just recently, I realized like consistency is more important than quality when you're starting out. So like I was just like, all right, we're posting 6 to 7 times a week. Doesn't matter if it's 8 o'clock and you forgot to post and it's some crappy like picture of your dinner. Like, okay, you have to post. Try to keep a theme in. Try to be more intentional than wait until the last minute. But part of at CF&E, the thought was the product is our marketing. Like we're gonna do such a kick-ass job with each member that we don't have to market. They're going to go out there and they're going to tell everyone they possibly can about how awesome it is. And for brick and mortar, where you have a limited amount of seats to fill, essentially, that worked great. That was a really good model. And one of my biggest mistakes early on was taking that exact same model to this virtual platform that was very small to begin with. I was like, oh, like I'll keep coaching really good classes and we'll grow and I'll have a waiting list and it'll be great and I'll be printing money. And like after a year of like tumbleweeds going through, it's like, oh man, like what's happening? I'm doing such a good job coaching. Like what's going on here? And it was actually our conversation we had a couple months ago that really opened my eyes on the kind of funnel I need to build for that. And social media is just a small part of that, but doing really good classes only takes you so far, essentially.
Yeah.
I feel like I can tell just from the outside looking in over the last few weeks that you really have been putting a lot of effort into it.
That's awesome. That makes my day hearing that. Thank you.
Kudos to you, man.
Thank you very much.
Let's say we'll start to wrap this up. Let's say somebody used to go to a gym. They quit during COVID. They have no interest in going back to the gym. They either want to do something like you are doing or they want to do something like we are doing. How should they get started and why?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Why should we get started? The bluntest.
They're intimidated. Like they were killing it in classes. They've backslid for the last 3 years. They've gained 20 pounds. They know they're going to be incredibly sore after doing 10 air squats.
Yes. Isn't it crazy how one day off, you're like, I'll get going tomorrow. 2 days off, you're like, oh man, this next workout back is going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you had like a week off, you're like, maybe I'll wait.
It's going to be rough. Yeah.
Snowballs. It keeps snowballing. Oh, it's been 3 years. Oh shit. Like all of a sudden I'm out. Darn it. I fully understand that. But your health and your happiness is the most important thing. If not for you, it's for your loved ones around you. You have to take care of yourself. Something I joke around with my members is like, do you want your kids to be wiping your butt in 20 years? Like, definitely not, right? Like that would suck. So like, what can we do today to make sure that awful future isn't a possibility? Let's not like end up somewhere where you regret not working out now. So like, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Part of that is being consistent. You got to be consistent. Where do you start? You do whatever your best workout is today. And we have an extensive onboarding process that we will ease you into it. We'll teach you all the lingo if you're new to CrossFit specifically. We really encourage taking it easy for the first few workouts. We actually have a momentum track. It's called Momentum. We take the workout of the day, which is sometimes pretty intense, and we turn it into this time-domained, super light, simple, not easy, simple version of the workout. So if you want to do 9 minutes of a minute of sit-ups, a minute of jump rope, a minute of air squats, cool. We're going to do that, and you're going to go at your pace. And tomorrow, maybe we do 12 minutes, and then maybe 15 minutes. But we've really, something I've understood, it's taken me a long time. We are professionals. We've been doing this for decades. Someone who's brand new or out of the game for a couple of years there's a big gap in what we assume should happen and what this person is actually capable of. So I've really tried to make it as smooth a transition as possible. That's not easy. Do you guys do anything to smoothen out that transition?
Yeah, we have every new client do a 3 workout assessment that's written to kind of let us see where their current abilities are, with no pressure to set any kind of PRs or lift any certain amount of weight. It's really just
like small doses of everything we do, a little bit of bodybuilding, a little bit of strength, a little bit of CrossFit-esque stuff, and just see where they land, so we're not like throwing something intense at them or starting them off where we're like, okay, squat the barbell, and they're like, well, I was previously squatting like 205, you don't want to offend them either, so it's just like a way to like see where they stand.
Same kind of approach. I think the big thing is with all that is just meet yourself where you are, regardless of what you used to do in the past or where you think you should be. Forget it. Meet yourself where you are. Commit to staying consistent, first of all, and then try to do a little bit more each day. And boom, 10 years from now, you'll be an overnight success.
And
beautifully said. That's what it takes, right? 10 years to overnight success. Seriously. That's awesome. True.
Well, tell everybody where they can find you, follow you on your blossoming social media account, and if they want to look at training with you, how they get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So at Jim Bungerz on Instagram. You'll appreciate the new content. Thank you very much for the shout out. And then jimbungers.com. We ask that you schedule a meeting with me to chat, phone or Zoom, for 5 to 10 minutes, just to give you the full rundown and make sure we answer all your questions. And once you schedule that, you're free to hop into classes. You could do just recordings if you want like that video guidance, but not the live stuff. But we're here to give you your best workout. jimbungers.com.
Love it.
Nice.
Thanks for your time today, Morgan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That was so awesome.
Absolutely. All right, you guys go check Morgan out online and on the, I guess it's all online.
Online, yeah.
I was going to say online and on the internet.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have a great day.
Heck yeah.
Yep.